Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to review Table 7-1 in the PMBOK guide. It's useful. Read it, highlight it, but this is a summary. You have your three core measures: earned value, planned value, and actual costs, and the definitions. Then you have some cumulative measures of project performance in these variances, which all have a negative. It's a variance, and notice you always start with earned value first. And then indices or indexes always start with in earned value first, but it's division. It's an index. It's a ratio. And that's a measure of project efficiency. And then there are some forecasting formulas easily defined. That's how that breaks up, right? And so you have your variance analysis. This is another slide that just summarizes that. And your indices. Notice that cost variance is EV, earned value, the work done, minus the actual cost, because it's a cost variance. And because it says variance, it has the subtraction symbol. Schedule variance, there are only three variables: EV, PV, and AC. So if a schedule variance, you always have EV first. Has nothing to do with cost, so it's not AC. The only variable left is PV. It's another way to think about it. So it's EV minus PV. There is one totalizer, variance at completion, and that's budget at completion minus estimate at completion. Now indices, there are two: schedule in performance index. Again, the performance index is a measure of efficiency, and the cost performance index. Again, they both start with EV first, but it's an index, so it's division. For the schedule, you divide it by the planned value. For the cost, you divide it by the actual costs. Now, there are trend analysis over time, and that's why we use estimate at completion and reserve analysis. This is a good description of it, and some formulas. A chance to pause the slide and read it for yourself, or go to Figure 7-12, page 264 of the PMBOK guide, and review the material there. There's one other. It's two complete performance index, TCPI, and this is a really pretty easy formula to remember. It's the work remaining at whatever point you're in the project, 1 quarter, 2 quarter, 3 quarters, whatever, the work remaining divided by the money remaining. And so the formula becomes BAC minus EV divided by BAC minus AC. Remember, it's an index, so it's division. And this is your overall budget, BAC minus the work done. That's the work remaining. Divided by your overall budget minus the money you've spent, AC. That's the money left. Okay. So very interesting. All right. Earned value, there are some general rules. If I have a negative variance, it's bad. If I have a positive variance, it's generally favorable, right? If I have an index less than 1, it's bad. If I have an index greater than 1, it's generally considered good. I do like CPI as the most reliable indicator because SPI begins to converge back to 1.0 towards the end of the project. Remember, if your scheduled performance index is to build a house, you might be 3 months late, but eventually that house gets built and the schedule comes back to 1.0 from an index perspective. Okay, here's kind of a picture of what we're talking about. And you can see that the black line leading up to your budget at completion, that's your overall budget. That's the line you want to be at for EV, PV, and AC. But if you end up a little behind, like here the green line is earned value, I didn't get as much work done. Maybe it rained and rained for weeks while I'm trying to build the house. But I still had to pay the crew, so my costs are up here. Well, this is going to lead to a cost variance, which we know is EV, always first, minus AC. And a schedule variance, which is always EV first minus PV, right? And notice we said that the cost baseline was a time phased budget, right? So I can take it at any given time. It's time phased budget. Okay. And there are some more examples. Those are for in class. This is really the summary slide, which I love. It's got the 4 processes in cost management at the top and what's going on in each process. And then at the bottom, I divide it by the 4 processes again and the major outputs that we have talked about. This is, in essence, cost management in summary. Okay? Chance for you to review that and make sure you're comfortable with it. Okay? All right. Thank you.